hard has it been as a small business owner to try to survive the COVID pandemic and everything that's happened?
It has been hard. I'm not going to lie. There was times in the very beginning where, especially in the beginning of March and April of last year, when we actually did shut down for a month, it was tough because I was under the impression that, it'll just be 2 weeks and this thing will be over. And then all of a sudden, there it went on for a month, and it went on for another month. And then, of course, you slowly have people. It's like anything in any business. If you don't have your people there, if they're not going to it, then, especially with jiu-jitsu, they tend to start to fade off slowly and slowly and slowly. In May, luckily, I started contacting people. People were pretty willing to keep paying to try to keep the place going. Almost a year later, here we are.
Parents kind of, obviously, they wouldn't want their kids trained in close contact, so I'm sure there was a big
impact. Right, in the very
there.
beginning, I had a lot of parents, mainly the kids is the ones I've lost. So we went from 75, 80 kids down to just now getting back to 35 kids.
Just like a lot of small business owners, I know this was your dream. I know you quit, a regular 9 to 5 to start this and everything. And are your plans to try to continue to keep it alive and keep this thing afloat?
It's starting to try to make a turnaround. We've actually added people back on here in the last month or so. The economy's been pretty good, but still the possibility of the scare with the COVID is still out there, so people have been a little afraid and a little timid to want to come back in and try anything new. Usually this time of year, into November, December, beginning of January, you get that mad rush for people to want to try new things and try to fix their lives or try something. I just have never done it before and I want to get in here and try it. And we've had a few, not like, the past 2 years, of course, but you can see people are getting tired of sitting at home and staying there. So with that idea in mind, I'm wanting to try to force it through, and I'm not a quitter.
Why would somebody train jiu-jitsu over something else?
You have a lot of options. I mean, there's a lot of different martial arts out there to train. You have Kung Fu, Judo, Karate. Out of all of those martial arts, in my opinion, because I have actually tried a lot of different martial arts.
Now, you're a double black belt, right?
Right. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm now, of course, a black belt in Jiu Jitsu. And I'll be honest, I have never had to put my Taekwondo to work and see it in action. I have, however, actually had to use Jiu Jitsu. Not that I was looking for it, but a clash came along several years ago where I actually had to defend myself, and I did not ever think one time flying sidekick this guy. No. I grabbed him, took him down, mounted, took his back, and choked him. It was blue belt 101
Textbook.
Techniques. Yeah, and it was and for the lay person out there, for the moms, the dads, the ladies, you're looking to get your kid into something, get them into jiu-jitsu. Because if you want them to have the confidence to walk around with their head up and know that I'm not worried about anything in life, jiu-jitsu is the way to go. So I just had a new lady sign up with me the other day, and she asked basically the same question you asked, why jiu-jitsu? Why would I want to do this over another martial art? So I told her the same thing. I was like, there's no other martial art that will teach you, if you're on the ground, how to get up. How to get up and how to defend yourself while you're on the ground, right? How to and what to do when a guy puts you on the ground. May get on top of you, may even end up in between your legs. What do you do? Sit there and scream, or do you take action? Jiu-jitsu is the ground. This is where we live, this is where we play, this is where we have fun, and that's where you learn how to defend.
So what happened whenever you started your journey? I know you came from a Taekwondo background, you came to the gym, and how did that, what made you switch there?
So it wasn't an immediate switch, because I was still actually training Taekwondo for a few months when I started Jiu-Jitsu. But when I realized, when I walked in there one day and I didn't have my white belt, and I came in with my Taekwondo black belt, that's the only one I had, and it was the first week, of course, and when I came in there with that black belt on, You know, it was a feeding frenzy for the white belts just to destroy me. And so, of course, you got a choice. You have an ego. I don't care what it says. Leave your ego at the door. We do say that, but at the same time, you have one still. But when you have a black belt, you've been training since you were 14, and somebody comes in day one, white belts, and they just mop the floor with you, it's pretty humbling.
And now you weren't just practicing Taekwondo, you were teaching it.
Oh yeah, I was teaching. I had my own place. I had my own Taekwondo school, right? So when I walked in there the first day, well, the first week anyway, and they just slaughtered me with my Taekwondo belt on. It was completely different. If we would have stood up, I might have been able to kick a dude in the face, maybe. But if he would have grabbed me, it wouldn't have mattered.
It would have been a fish out of water. Yeah,
it wouldn't have mattered. It would not have mattered, because I'm not gonna lie. First tournament, I flopped around like a fish because I had no idea what I was doing. I got massacred.
You just jumped in and started competing in full force?
Before I ever took one jiu-jitsu class, I went to a jiu-jitsu tournament. It was grappling back then, of course.
Right.
You know, it wasn't jiu-jitsu, but it was just a grappling tournament. Yeah, I got hammered. Taken down. Guy took my back. I finally was able to muscle my way up to the top. The guy pulls me into guard. I end up in half guard. He pulls me back into guard, and then, cross chokes me.
Well, and that's one of the things we talked about a lot. Somebody that is big, that has no training, really doesn't even stand a chance once it goes to the ground with somebody that's even a year or two of training under their belt.
Size matters. It all actually matters.
Yeah.
But in the overall long run of things, technique is the king.
That's
technique
awesome.
is the king.
Yeah, I know. I started it just to lose weight and didn't want to go to a regular gym. I wanted, if I was going to sweat it out and do something, I wanted to learn something.
That's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu. So, you could come in here and never want to compete. You never want to go out there. You're not looking to get into fights. You're not looking to just, kick people's butt on a day in, day out basis. But you're looking to, have something. Number one is you've got a workout that is freaking awesome. I don't care if you're a beginner or if you're
full body.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a full body workout. I don't care if you're a beginner day one person or you're somebody that comes in on a regular basis. Everybody, every day, leaves out of here smiling, number one. Number two, feeling good, because that sweat you just got on is the best feeling ever in life. Plus, you just learned something cool.
And I know we've got a couple of guys that train that are, we were talking earlier, in their 60s. And I said all my excuses kind of go out the door when this guy's doing 2-a-days and he's 62 years old and works a full-time job, gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Other martial arts will say that, it's for everybody. But I'll be honest, man, I did Taekwondo from the time I was 14 till I was in my 30s. And the older people, the heavier set people, they couldn't do a jump spinning side kick. They couldn't do a jump spinning round kick. Not that, those are the most important kicks, but those are kind of Taekwondo related.
They're in the techniques.
Yeah, they're part of your techniques. They're part of your techniques. So, but anybody, any size, any age, any weight could jump into jiu-jitsu class and become proficient at it. I've seen guys that are 300 pounds. I've seen guys that are 125 pounds. And both come in here and just end up being able to destroy people.
Right. I know a lot of the rebuttal to people is, I don't want to go in there and get hurt.
One of the things you'll find out about jiu-jitsu, and it's kind of like with any other sport, and honestly it's with any other sport, a lot of the injuries that people receive and get from jiu-jitsu class itself is something that they do, not something that your partner does, right? In every sport, it's kind of inherent that there's the possibility of an injury. If you play football, basketball, baseball, soccer, right?
Running.
Cheerleading, right?
Yeah.
Bicycling. There's injuries, man.
Right.
There's injuries. People can say what they want about any sport, but I've been doing it for 20 years now, and the worst injuries I've had are black eyes, right? And you'll get the.
But a lot of that comes into, I've noticed when, the more advanced people get, you train at the pace you want to train at. So if you want to go hard and grab another guy that says, hey, let's go like we're, fighting for our lives, let's do it. But I've also noticed it's kind of, you go at your own pace.
That's what's good about it, because
Tap.
you go as hard as you want to, you go as soft as you want to. We have people that come in specifically because they want to train hard, and then we have people come in that they just want to have a good time.
They just want to stay mobile and limber.
We have classes designed for both beginners and the guy that wants to come in and just go beast mode.
How many times a week do you think somebody should be training to really advance at a decent pace?
So that is a tough one. That is a tough one.
I always tried to stick to at least 2 times a week.
So just like what you're saying there, for me, myself, it did take me a little bit longer to get my black belt. It took me around 10 years to get my black belt. But that was because, just like what you were saying, I only went twice a week, and at the most 3 times a week. You know, I'd go 2 times during the week and probably hit up Saturdays. And there was occasions in between there that I would go more.
And that was through the time you were raising a family too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that was the whole time. I was maintaining a full-time job, had 2 kids that were active in all kinds of other sports, wife that did all kinds of stuff too. Besides, she worked too, and so it's always easy to make an excuse why I shouldn't train. But how can you argue against taking 2 hours out of your week, 2 hours now, to and learn a cool martial
And
art?
now that's something you and your wife are one of the few husband-wife black belt duos. I mean,
Right. So
she
not
got hers
only are
too,
we
right?
husband and wife black belt duos, but we trained together the entire time, and both got our black belts from the same instructor, not from 2 different instructors or something like that. But we trained together the entire time, never with anybody else, and both got our black belts from the same instructor.
That's one of the things I really like about here too, is that she can be that leader, where a lot of gyms you've got one male at the top, and you know, different things happen or different things are said or whatever, to where, you know, females can come in here and train and feel comfortable and actually have a leader for what they're looking for their journey.
Yeah, she participates in most of my jiu-jitsu classes. Plus, she helps me with the kickboxing class as well. So I mean, she's here all the time. So, and I know it's a tough thing out there. Women have a hard time, especially wanting to join. To join a martial art like this, because number one is the fear of, man, what's going to happen when I go in there. You know, the fear of day one. You don't know what to expect. The other thing is maybe they've actually seen some matches or seen something on TV, UFC or something like that. So there's the fear of, man, there's going to be nothing but dudes in here sweating all over me. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. But you know what I can say to that is, depending on what you're looking for in your training as a woman, if you're coming in specifically as something to break a sweat and be able to protect yourself, that's what you're looking for anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And typically I've noticed the jiu-jitsu world, I mean, I've met people all over the country, and it's really one of the most respectable, you know, just a really good base of people that train.
It is. I mean, you're going to have a bad apple, you know, fall through the cracks every once in a while, and they'll be out there. But
there's
for the
arrogant
most part,
assholes no matter what you do. But
no matter
for the most
what
part,
you do, you're going to find somebody. Because you're a girl, I'm going to go harder on you. Right? Because you're a girl, I'm not going to let you
because you're
tap
smaller,
me.
because whatever.
That's it. It doesn't matter if you're a girl. Because you're smaller, you know, I'm the big guy. You're small.
Right. I'm
supposed to go hard on you, right? And you'll have that here and there, but for the most part, in jiu-jitsu, with the guys that we have, they've learned over the years that it is about respect. Because what other martial art gives you the opportunity to entrust your partner enough that I'm rolling with you with the clear aspect of, there's a possibility that I can get my arm broke, my shoulder dislocated, choked unconscious, my knee dislocated, and the only thing stopping you from doing that to me is, number one, you care about me, and number two, we have the tap, right? We can go as hard as we want, you know, but in the end, my partner knows, right? He has that respect for me that, all right, the arm's going too far. He doesn't want to tap for whatever reason today. He's being hard-headed. I'm not going to just crank on his arm. I'm going to let him go, and we'll just keep going, and we'll talk to each other when the match is over. No matter what, if you're looking for self-defense, if you're looking for a martial art to just train something that you can just go hard in. You know, there's no punches, no kicks, no hitting to the face. Everything we do is joint manipulation, chokes, things like that. And with the interaction of the tap, we can go as hard as we want to and never really hurt each other. And with on that basis alone, you know, outside of boxing, karate, other martial arts where you have punches and kicks, no indirect or direct head trauma, no accidental head injuries or anything like that. So with that being said, you know, jiu-jitsu is the way to go.
Yeah. And I know in other martial arts, you know, it seems like, especially in the fighting world, that's what drew me to it too, because I noticed no matter what, you have to have that. If you don't have some sort of grappling, you're not going to survive.
Definitely. I mean,
anybody can get a lucky knockout.
Right. If you stand up with anybody, I don't care if if you've been training jiu-jitsu for 50 years, 25 years, 20 years, and you're at the top of your game. Of course, I want to play to my strengths, but at the same time, in the mixed martial arts world, it's mixed martial arts. If you don't have a decent ground game, it doesn't matter how good of a striker you are. If I take you down,
somebody will have your number.
Yeah. That's it. How good are you on your back? If you're looking for a martial art, looking to train jiu-jitsu, looking for something for self-defense, or you're just looking to get in shape, come down to Davis Martial Arts, Humble, Texas. We're here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, kids and adults.